Back on the Nation at 5 with the spotlight turned towards Karnataka, where clearly the Congress is out there to oppose Veer Savarkar, trying to make it a conflict and a fight of ideologies, where Savarkar is being equated to the Hindutva bandwagon that is being pushed by the BJP and the RSS, and on the other hand, trying to pitch Tipu Sultan to play the entire Hindu-Muslim binary in the state. In the meantime, the BJP has come out fervently and hailed Savarkar as one of the freedom fighters of the country. Little to history needs to be told, ladies and gentlemen, as we look at this latest, chapter in this fight between the Congress and the BJP over Veer Savarkar, that Savarkar never was associated with the RSS. Savarkar was actually one of the founders of the Hindu Mahasabha. And Veer Savarkar was somebody who was hailed by Indira Gandhi in 1966. When he passed away, Indira Gandhi hailed him for his contributions towards the freedom struggle and also issued a stamp commemorating Vinayak Damodar Savarkar as one of the foremost of the freedom fighters of our country. So history is sometimes forgotten to perhaps suit current political narratives. And this is exactly what historian and author Dr. Vikram Sampath told us when we were conversing with him. But in the latest aspect, former Karnataka Chief Minister BS Yediyurappa flagging off a Savarkar Rath Yatra in Mysuru, saying that it is wrong to speak incorrectly about Savarkar, adding that it is a sin to do so. And the Rath Yatra is part of the campaign called Everywhere Savarkar and is aimed to spread awareness about Vinayak Damodar Savarkar. Harish Upadhyay now joins us. Harish, black flags being shown to Siddaramaiah, the Madikere protests being postponed or cancelled for the moment. But on the other hand, with a huge poster of Savarkar, it was BS Yediyurappa, the former Chief Minister, who stood there and launched Everywhere Savarkar.
Yes, and it's a significant moment because we've seen over the last few decades Yediyurappa refraining from commenting on any issue that he considers is polarizing or very divisive. For the first time now, we are seeing Yediyurappa taking part in a campaign and be vocal about it. As you mentioned, he said anybody who speaks ill about Savarkar is committing a sin, and his message should be taken to every youngster, to every house. That's what Atal Bihari Vajpayee said. He also refers to Indira Gandhi and says that there are other leaders from across the political spectrum who took part in Savarkar's funeral. So he's a figure who was accepted by everyone in history. In the present times, he shouldn't be painted in a certain way, and that's what the Congress is attempting to do now. And we will see this whole campaign in a way increasing by the day. By the end of this month, you will see several organizations who will have Savarkar's photos in various Ganesh Chaturthi festivities that will happen across the state.
Absolutely. Now, but do these protests continue at this point? There was a stabbing which happened over the use of Savarkar in the posters during Har Ghar Tiranga during Independence Day. Harish, what is the situation on ground right now in Madikere, Shivamogga, those areas?
The situation is normal, but there is an advisory given out to various district administrations to ensure that whenever there is a request that's given for erecting any sort of a pandal or a celebration for Ganesh Chaturthi, then every stakeholder be consulted before that permission is granted, whether it's the local police department, the municipal administration, or otherwise, to ensure that Ganesh Chaturthi doesn't become a flashpoint because you have several organizations wanting to have Savarkar's photo in those celebrations, or you have other organizations who are vehemently opposing it.
Right. Thank you for your inputs, Harish. I have Sanket Yanagi and Mohan Krishna with me. Namaskara, gentlemen. Sanket Yanagi, Siddaramaiah or Indira Gandhi? Who's wrong?
See, there are two important aspects here which we need to take into account. What is urgent and what is necessary. What is urgent may not be necessary, may not be so necessary at some certain circumstances or the point of time. Here, what is necessary, I'm not saying Savarkar's issue is not essential. It could be discussed at the leisure time. But according to us, now the Karnataka is hit by the floods. 73 people have died. More than 7,300 people have been taken shelter under 75 relief camps. As many as 8,197 people have been shifted safely through heavy downpour in Karnataka. 14 districts have been heavily hit. 161 villages have been completely vanishing. Resultant of floods, 21,727 people in the recent days. According to the government data, as many as 66 houses have been completely damaged, while 2,949 houses were completely damaged. 17,750 houses were partially damaged. Agricultural crops on 1,29,087 hectares and horticultural crops to an extent of 7,942 hectares were damaged. And this is the issue we have to address and Mr. Yediyurappa has to address. Is it essential for us to discuss something on whether Savarkar was a freedom fighter?
Sanjay, one is you have an amazing ability to very softly, very nicely shift the goalpost. But let's agree that that you have shifted the goalpost fantastically. But there is also the fact that charity begins at home. You have to practice what you preach. So have you sent the same message across to Mr. Siddaramaiah also? Because he's the one who has turned around and tried to justify the stabbing of an individual during Independence Day because he supported Savarkar. He has turned around and carried out some protests saying that we will carry out anti-Savarkar campaigns. He's the one who's railing against Savarkar. He's not talking about the flood situation and telling the Congress cadre, focus on your energies. If you want to win back the trust of the people, focus your energies in rescue and relief. The same advice that you are giving to Yediyurappa, are you also giving to your own party leader and your former chief minister?
See, former chief minister is visiting flood-hit areas. And he is visiting the people who are suffering. He is seeking the opinion of the other organizations.
But the former chief minister is also railing against Mr. Savarkar, Mr. Vinayak Damodar Savarkar. So I'm asking you, is Siddaramaiah wrong or is Indira Gandhi wrong?
At the present, we are not saying anything
is Siddaramaiah wrong or Indira Gandhi wrong? My question,
not so relevant according to us.
My question is not a long one. It's a simple multiple choice. That is two choices. You can choose either one. Is Siddaramaiah wrong or is Indira Gandhi wrong?
We are not able to discuss on this point at this point because we are concentrating on the major issues the people are facing.
Like I said, I have to hand it to you that you're a past master at shifting the goalpost and that too very, very eloquently, and that's why I have huge respect for you, Sanket ji. Mohan Krishna ji, Mr. Savarkar had nothing to do with the RSS. He had nothing to do with the BJP. Why is the BJP trying to appropriate Veer Savarkar? That's another question.
Anand, very good evening to you. I heard our Congress spokesperson speaking. Very swiftly, as you rightly said, he has shifted the goalpost. We are talking here about Savarkar. Why Savarkar, I will tell you. For Congress and opposition, Savarkar is a soft target. The bigger target is Hinduism and Hindutva. In order to make sure that they want to show to the people and the world saying that.
Okay, let me ask you, if you totally subscribe to Savarkar, Savarkar did not have a problem with any particular faith and what they ate. Savarkar himself said, I have no problems if a Hindu eats beef, I also eat beef. He believed that anybody and everybody who believed that their ancestors were Hindus, they belong to Bharatavarsha, they are all Hindus. That's his political definition. He also said that there will be no appeasement, everybody will be treated equally. So do you subscribe to all these views wholeheartedly?
Absolutely.
Or are you appropriating Savarkar because you believe that it will help bolster your entire claimed Hindutva platform?
Anand, just give me a minute, I will tell you. Savarkar is seen as a freedom fighter for us. Congress and opposition, they are defaming and demeaning Savarkar's stature by saying that he has not fought for the independence. We want to educate the people in the Karnataka state, starting from Karnataka state, that how he has fought for the freedom fighting of the country. In what capacities, what all he has done.
But you think you will be able to explain to a party who has discounted their own former Prime Minister and her own long speech and the issuance of a postage stamp by her in 1966?
Let me tell you, Anand, we are here to discuss. As Siddaramaiah started, who is Savarkar, he asked. We want to show to the people of Karnataka who is Savarkar first. He is a freedom fighter, he has fought for the country, and how the country has been deceived.
That is exactly what I am saying, Mohanji, that who is Savarkar, what is his contribution towards the country and its freedom struggle was extolled by the former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi ji herself. Who among the Congress party is posed in the post-independence era after Jawaharlal Nehru is a taller leader than Indira Gandhi in the Congress party?
So then why Siddaramaiah started Savarkar? Please ask the Congress spokesperson here. Let
That
him
is
answer.
exactly-
If
that
they
has been my
accept it,
question all
then
along.
it is a different issue.
My question is very simple. Mr. Siddaramaiah or Mrs. Indira Gandhi, who is right and who is wrong? Let the Congress party decide and then thereafter set their narrative. If they continue to rail against Savarkar, then does that equal to also prove that
But
they believe Indira Gandhi ji is wrong? That's the question that needs to be asked. We'll park that question for a debate very, very soon again, because Savarkar issue is not going to go away very soon. He was somebody who foresaw partition. He was somebody who foresaw that appeasement is going to hurt the country. He was somebody who foresaw that governance above all has to be the norm if India has to prosper. And he did all of this in 1920 and 1930s, ladies and gentlemen, much before things came out to play. Now, all of that has been chronicled. We'll talk about that at great length very soon. For the moment, taking a very short break. Sanket Yenagi and Mohan Krishna. Namaskara and thank you very much. Pleasure speaking with you, gentlemen.